Tom, we really need you back on set, pal.
How does anyone find that funny? I mean, seriously, how does anyone find that funny? If you laughed at it, there's something seriously wrong with you.
So, The Fall Guy, starring Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. It was released to cinemas, I believe, on May 3rd, 2024, and about 2 weeks later, it's already available on digital for people to watch at home. So obviously that means the movie did not do well. I believe that it had a budget of around 150 million, and it only made around 130, so it flopped. And you'd think that a movie with Ryan Gosling, aka Ken from Barbie, and Emily Blunt, who is a very liked actress, in my opinion, I like her. Whenever I think about her, I remember Edge of Tomorrow. So, and also that movie, the horror one, Quiet Place. I really liked her in that one as well. So why did the movie fail? I'm just here to discuss why I think the movie flopped, and also do a review of the film and my thoughts. Personally, I didn't love the movie, but I didn't hate it either. I give it like a sort of 6 out of 10 if I'm being very generous. Yeah. And I'm going to explain why. First of all, this film, I noticed that in the opening credits, it said that it's based off of a TV show. And because I'm a young guy, I didn't know that. Upon a little bit of research, I saw a lot of people saying that it's from an 80s TV show of the same name. I didn't know that. So you would assume that when the movie was being made, that the guys who made it are like, well, it already has like a sort of pre-established older audience. So that's the first thing. It's trying to turn a TV show, or basically they're making a movie based off of a TV show, of which it's kind of different. You obviously know this. If you have a series versus if you have a movie of 3 hours, or a movie of 2 hours, it's not the same thing. Next up, some people will say that this movie failed because of the marketing. I saw in the trailer that a lot of people were saying that the trailer made the movie look generic, or the trailer did not help people understand what it was truly about. I personally don't watch trailers, but I know that good word of mouth can help a movie even when it doesn't have the right marketing. So the first thing is that this movie, it already is supposed to have a pre-established audience because of the TV show from the 80s. Number two, the one thing that I felt this movie was trying to do was to try and appreciate stuntmen who typically go unnoticed in the film industry. It's obviously trying to do a commentary about the film industry and the way a lot of people go underappreciated, because Ryan Gosling is playing a stuntman. He has an accident where he breaks his back. He disappears for about 1 year. He was working with Emily Blunt, who was his love interest, and then when they reconcile later on, Emily Blunt is quite blunt about how annoyed she is that he sort of like ghosted or disappeared from the scene. So that's the second thing. It's not just a TV show turning into a movie. It's not just a stuntman action movie. It's also a romance thing, which to me was the one part that really irritated me. First of all, you can't convince me that Emily Blunt, a girl that looks like Emily Blunt, her character would have an issue replacing Ryan Gosling. Yes, I know he is Ken and is Mr. Pretty Boy, but come on, a girl like Emily Blunt, a character that looks like that in the movie would be able to replace him because I think they stayed apart for 18 months or something. So in 18 months, I mean, come on, you're telling me Emily Blunt's character would have not found another dude? But the way the romance is just in your face, it irritated me so much. Also, I should point this out. When I was watching, I just kept thinking to myself that roles reversed, it would have not been a big deal. What I mean is, if a girl is highly interested in you and then you, the guy, just bounce and disappear from her life, yeah, she'll get mad. But if it was the other way around, if the dude was invested and then the chick disappears, Typically in real life, the girl would just be like, we were just friends. It started and it ended. So when I was watching this, I felt it was such a double standard, because I was thinking to myself, well, if it was a girl who had left, she would have said, oh, personal reasons, this, she would have underplayed it. But no, here in the film, because it's a guy who left, of course, it has to be made a big deal. And it's drawn out. There are scenes where Emily Blunt is basically, her character is basically directing a movie. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm describing. There's a part where she's directing her own movie, and she ends up just telling Ryan Gosling's character to do a scene over and over again because he gets to be set on fire and thrown to a wall, and then they start arguing, and then they're talking about how the script is about this girl and the space cowboy, and this sort of like undertones of what happened in their past relationship. And I was just watching it and I was just like, oh my god, I came here to watch a film about what stuntmen go through, and now here I am being subjected to some romance nonsense. There's even a scene where they sit in a car and they shake hands, and they are like, we're going to be profesh about things. Oh my god. Which brings me to the third element of this film. It also tries to be a comedy. It's doing too much at the same time. It's trying to be it's coming from a TV show from the 80s. It's trying to be about stuntmen. It's about romance. It's about the comedy. There's this one scene where Ryan Gosling's character basically takes drugs, or he gets drugged, and then he starts seeing unicorns. Boy, to me, it was just, I was not having a good time. I felt like it was just trying to do too much in one film. As I said, word of mouth is a very important thing, and it's a very strong thing. It can save your movie very easily. When you watch a film as a movie fan, and then you go out there to tell people about it, you always have like a certain angle in which you sell the movie to your friend, right? Like, for example, I watched Godzilla -1. I really loved it. So when I went to tell people about it, I told them, hey, this is like a really unique Godzilla film, because it's probably the only Godzilla film. I know there are very many of them, but this is like the only one where I've really cared about the characters, and that's why you should go watch it. I had a specific angle why you should go watch this film. But now the Fall Guy, you don't know whether to go tell someone to go watch it because it's based off of the 80s TV show. You don't know whether to go tell someone to watch it because of the whole thing to do with stunts and action. You don't know whether to go tell someone to go watch it because there's a love story with Emily Blunt. You don't know whether to go tell someone if there's a comedy, whether it's a funny film. It's trying to do all these things, and I think the only one that it does really well is the stunts and action part. The comedy to me was lackluster. The romance was not something that I'm jumping for joy watching. So I feel like this movie is a lesson in trying to do too many things at the same time, trying to please everyone, because obviously the action would appeal to the male audience. The female audience would enjoy the rom-com elements. Maybe they would also try, and the fact that it's from a TV show would try to impress and attract an older audience. So you're trying to please everyone, and it just would not work, in my opinion. But those are my thoughts. What are yours? Tell me what you thought of The Fall Guy if you've watched it. I think the fact that it tried to please everyone ended up pleasing no one, and that's why it flopped. Even though it has that dude who plays Mbaku, it has that dude from the MCU who plays the Speedster in Avengers, it has Ryan Gosling, it has Emily Blunt, it has stars, but it failed. And I think it's because it tried to please everyone. If you've enjoyed my review, make sure to smash like and subscribe. There are so many movies that are chucking back to back, so I just wanted to review them, and on the screen I'll leave other reviews I've done for recent films. I'll see you in the next one.